Thanks, Kate, and hi, everyone. I'm, as Martin said, I'm Sarah Lippincott, Program Manager for the Library Publishing Coalition. Share with you a little bit about the Library Publishing Coalition, who we are and what we aim to do, and then talk about some of the trends and challenges that we see among our 60 libraries and other libraries across the United States who are beginning to develop their publishing services. The Library Publishing Coalition is a 2-year project that launched in January of 2014. It's led by 60 academic libraries, actually as of last week, 61 academic libraries, in collaboration with the Educopia Institute, to design and build a community of practice for library publishers. And this 2-year project phase is really the design of the governance and services, looking at how we can build an organization that best serves our community of librarians, and we plan to launch the membership organization as an ongoing professional organization by January of 2015. We exist to encourage the mainstreaming of library publishing in a range of forms that are appropriate to different institution sizes and goals, to establish networks both within the library communities so that our librarians are communicating with one another, and between library publishers and other scholarly publishers, in particular university presses, as well as other scholarly publishers and scholars themselves, that improve the scholarly communication ecosystem. And finally, to provide services and resources to practitioners, to the librarians who are actively developing or working on publishing services on their campuses. So when we talk about library publishing, what we are thinking about is the set of activities that is led by college and university libraries to support the creation, dissemination, and curation of scholarly, creative, and/or educational works. And we're primarily referring to things that require a production process. So they have some sort of, there is some sort of work that goes into creating this object at the library level, some things that have not been previously made available before. But in the range of formats, from everything from data to journal articles to monographs and to modes of scholarly communication that aren't yet common. So why are libraries getting into this area? Why are we seeing a critical mass of libraries taking on this function as publisher at this time? We've heard a lot from other speakers today about the traditional publishing, scholarly publishing system and the ways in which it, in some cases, does a disservice to scholars and scholarship, in other ways where its models are unsustainable for libraries and scholars, or in ways in which it's not changing fast enough to meet the needs of scholars. And so libraries are seeing that need and that gap and stepping in to provide alternatives to traditional publications for their faculty, and typically alternatives that will allow their faculty to retain more of their rights, to publish in new and innovative ways, and to really adhere to the principles of scholarship that their faculty value. They're also publishing work that doesn't fit elsewhere, things like gray literature and data sets that have a great importance for many scholarly communities, but aren't necessarily recognized or accepted by other scholarly publishers, but that still need a home. To complement existing campus publishing operations, such as university presses, to fill in gaps where they see them, to work with university presses to provide new and innovative services. And one final motivation that I didn't list here, but that I think is a very important one to bring up, is to serve the teaching and learning mission of their institutions as well. And we see a lot of universities, especially working with undergraduate students, to really immerse them in the scholarly publishing process and teach them early about scholarly publishing, provide them with information literacy around open access, around the publishing system as it is today, in the hopes that they will be part of positive change in the future. The typical service model we see is the scholar providing, or scholars providing the content editorial focus of the publication and the peer review, while the library provides services such as production, typesetting, hosting of content, distribution, preservation, metadata, copyright advisory, and these are just among the services that libraries are providing. The Library Publishing Coalition surveyed 115 libraries in 2013 about the types of content they're producing, which includes electronic theses and dissertations as the primary publication, faculty-led journals, so journals that focus on faculty work. 75% of institutions that we surveyed are publishing, who have publishing programs, are publishing journals, student-led journals, monographs, textbooks, and then smaller percentages are publishing some of these other types of less traditional or formal publications, such as technical and research reports, data, digital humanities projects, database-driven websites. So where are the challenges in library publishing? Where is this field going, and what are some of the obstacles that libraries are facing? Why do we need this community of practice to help to support this ongoing operation? The first is positioning services that I see, serving changing and diverse needs of scholars and seeing that we actually are serving a need on our campuses, making sure that the services that we're providing are addressing the kinds of challenges, pain points that our faculty and students are seeing, and that really provide viable alternatives or viable options for them in publication. The most relevant to the theme of our conference today is in sustaining services. So securing funding that is sustainable in the long term, that's an ongoing support system for library publishing. In our survey of libraries, 90% of libraries report that most or all of their funding comes from their library operating budgets. So this is a funding stream that's really at the discretion of it's not a service that's sustaining itself in any way. It's not bringing in any revenue, and it doesn't have its own specific dedicated funding stream. We also are looking at, we're seeing challenges in libraries in maturing and scaling their services. So as they are moving from publishing one or two journals or a few ad hoc publications, how are they streamlining their operations to make sure that they can continue to take on more work with the same amount of resources, identifying collaborators to help enable that, implementing policies that start to focus library publishing programs into a programmatic function of the library instead of kind of an ad hoc collection of publishing projects. Finally, libraries are dealing with raising their visibility on their own campuses, library publishing services on their own campuses and within the broader publishing community, so among university presses, scholarly societies, other participants in the scholarly communication system. And so how, making sure that the faculty and students that we're serving know we're there, and that the other participants in the scholarly communication system are taking library publishing seriously as a programmatic and strategic initiative in libraries.